Hello and welcome to the Gadgets and Gizmos show, Narendra Modi special on Headlines Today. I'm Siddhartha Sharma, and over the next half an hour, we'll get you all the lowdown on how Narendra Modi used the power of technology to get the top job in India. From social media to 3D holograms to clicking selfies, the man did it all to woo and inspire young India.
We are and always will be the United States of America. Yes, we can.
It all started in USA when Barack Obama showcased the world that social media is a very effective tool for election campaigns. He tweeted his ideas for change, and America followed him not only on Twitter but literally too. So what if this Indian did not have a US visa? Ideas have no boundaries, and Modi was quick to adapt. He took to Obama's way of online promotion. He was on Twitter and Facebook, social networking sites that have millions of users in India, especially the young and first-time voters. Social media played a crucial role during 2014 Lok Sabha elections, particularly with over 150 million first-time voters between the age of 18 to 23 years old who are social media savvy with mobile-centric lifestyles. The entire build-up to the election saw usage of social media platforms. Other leaders too followed the same path and used Twitter to connect, share and even take forward their poll agenda. But the first mover advantage was with Narendra Modi. While Congress leaders too created their profiles, the impact wasn't as they expected.
The 2014 general elections has been called the Twitter election, and with good reason. 58 million tweets from the 1st of January to the 12th of May. That's unprecedented in Indian history, and certainly shows you just how many people have got online onto social media to talk about this election, because that is the new public space, really. And this is the tool we've been using courtesy Twitter. It's called TweetTech, to monitor all the election events. We have our own reporters. We've got Indian politicians over here. We're monitoring what's happening on the Election Express feed as well. But look at this column right at the corner. This is a search for Narendra Modi and what people are saying about him on Twitter. And every few seconds, you'll see a few of these tweets coming through. These are how often people are talking about Modi on Twitter. And you can see that scrolling down. Even now, a few days after he's already won the elections. So you see the amount of interest that this man has on social media right there in a picture.
As BJP and Narendra Modi had already taken the lead in social media usage and had been extensively campaigning with the digital platform besides the traditional forms of campaigning. Since 1st January 2014, over 58 million election-related tweets were sent, and Narendra Modi had been mentioned around 11.85 million times.
Narendra Modi doesn't generate a lot of buzz right about here. In fact, he's been usually getting between 10 and 20,000 tweets every day. And then suddenly, as you build up from the end of March and leading into the voting period, you see Narendra Modi's mentions on Twitter take off. There's a clear rise in the number of times Narendra Modi has been talked about on Twitter. This is a very deliberate strategy by the BJP, as we've now come to know. They've focused their campaign very well. They've timed it very well to get the maximum attention on Modi when it matters, and that is during the elections, of course.
The election finale has silenced both Narendra Modi's critics and those who don't consider social media as a powerful entity. Modi's tweet, "India has won," became the most retweeted message ever from India and reached the landmark of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 and 40,000 retweets faster than any other tweet from India. Now 140 characters is all it takes to put your message across on Twitter. and 140 characters were more than enough for Narendra Modi. On counting day, Narendra Modi began with 39.87 lakh followers and ended with 40.92 lakh followers, breaking a record of sorts in the number of followers on Twitter any individual has pulled in on a given day. The tally now stands well over 41.9 lakh and growing. Modi replied directly on Twitter to congratulatory tweets from world leaders and influential Indians, from UK Prime Minister David Cameron, Australian Prime Minister Tony Abbott, to superstar Rajnikant, as well as to tweets from rival parties such as Shashi Tharoor. He even tweeted after his conversation with Obama. According to Twitter India, this marked a change from his earlier strategy, where he was rarely seen personally responding to tweets. Modi has also sent direct messages over Twitter to those who wished him over his win.
There are lessons here. The BJP did not begin its online campaign just in the month of January. They began it years in advance. They've been preparing for this very meticulously. They've been planning this very meticulously. They've been executing this very meticulously. And you see that momentum that's built up over the years, the conversations that people have had about Modi on Twitter and Facebook, the conversation they've had about the BJP on Twitter and Facebook, building into this huge momentum just as the elections got underway. And there was a critical statistic that we were tracking here at Headlines today, and it's called the social media seats in this election. We identified 160 seats across the country during the election where the number of social media users, that is Twitter and Facebook users, outnumbered the margin of victory in the last election. So effectively what this meant is, if you managed to convince enough people on social media, there is a chance you would have got them to come and vote for you during the polls. Now, out of that 160 seats that we tracked for social media users, 80% went to the BJP. Was that because of this sustained campaign that you see of the BJP? It's hard to say right now, but clearly it would have made some help. It would have dented them, the impact of the other parties in some way.
His mentions on Twitter, represented on this map, showcases Modi's Twitter success.
In India, where it mattered, most of those tweets are orange, and that's perhaps why you had so many conversations about Modi and the BJP, perhaps why he ended up winning big.
Now, when I received a direct message from Narendra Modi's personal Twitter account thanking me for his election campaign support, I was thrilled. What more does it take to inspire young Indians than a simple tweet from the top guy himself? But Twitter was not the only platform Narendra Modi focused on. He also was present on Facebook, where he could share a lot more with his followers than what he could on Twitter. Narendra Modi's Facebook page is not that popular as compared to his Twitter page, but 15 million followers are also no less. With no word limitation and options to upload videos and multiple images, Narendra Modi utilized the potential of Facebook to the fullest. And not very often do you find a Facebook page where the number of people talking about the page is more than the number of followers on the page. The impact of Facebook was no less too. From the day elections were announced to the day polling ended, 29 million people in India conducted 227 million interactions in terms of posts, comments, shares and likes regarding the elections on Facebook. In addition, 13 million people engaged in 75 million interactions regarding Modi, and on the day the poll results were called, Modi's photo with his victory wall message generated more than 1 million likes and shares. Narendra Modi not just recognized the power of social media, but he seemed like a man who is in love with technology. And he was all set to unveil his next technology trick. He could now be present at 2 different places at the same time, courtesy a 3D hologram. With his eyes set on the prize and time running out to the polls, wherever Modi couldn't reach, he sent out his 3D avatar. John Oliver might have taken the 3D hologram in a lighter tone.
That is how you convince. That is how you convince undecided voters. Who are you going to vote for? Modi. Why? Because he appeared to me as a hologram and told me he'd give me a toilet.
But the Indian masses were surely impressed. This was the making of a political pop star. So much so that the Billboard Award used this 3D hologram technology to get the king of pop, Michael Jackson, back to life. Modi, though, just saw a practical use of it to reach out to the masses and convey his message and vision for India.
And with that, it's time for us to take a very small break on this Narendra Modi special of Gadgets and Gizmos show. But you guys don't go anywhere, because coming up on the other side, we tell you what is the smartphone that Narendra Modi uses.